Good morning, green trains and red buses. Lovely to see you again for our new phonics sound of this week, which is b, baby brains, b, baby brains. And this is our story today by Simon James called Baby Brains. You can see that my little baby here is asleep as well, so she'll be listening to the story the same as you. In the months before Baby Brains was born, Mrs. Brains was very busy. She read out loud every night to the baby that was inside her tummy. She played music and languages on the headphones to her baby during the day, and Mr. and Mrs. Brains wanted to make sure their baby was going to be very, very clever. They even turned up the television when the news came on. Mr. and Mrs. Brains were very excited when their baby was born. It was a boy. Our very own Baby Brains, said Mr. Brains proudly. When they brought him home from hospital, Mrs. Brains laid him down in the brand new cot. Sleep tight, Baby Brains, they said. The next morning, Mrs. Brains was on her way to get breakfast when she heard some very strange noises in the living room. Mrs. Brains opened the door to see her baby sitting on the sofa reading the morning paper. By the afternoon, Baby Brains was helping mend the car. We've certainly got a bright one here, said Mr. Brains. That evening, Baby Brains spoke his first words. I'd like to go to school tomorrow, he said. The very next day, Baby Brains visited the local school. He sat down with the children and answered all of the questions. The children were amazed. Oh, there he is. Look how small he is against his friends. At the end of the afternoon, the teacher thanked Baby Brains. I don't think I've ever learnt as much in one day, she said. On the way home, Baby Brains said he wanted to go to university and study medicine. He wants to be a doctor. After just 2 weeks, Baby Brains began working as a doctor at the local hospital. He was very popular with all of the staff and the patients. Word soon spread around about the extraordinary Baby Brains. Everyone wanted to meet him. One night, some space scientists phoned. They asked if Baby Brains would like to help with their next space mission. Well, there he is, lot on the telephone. Do you think he'll go into space? Shall we have a look? The very next day, Mr. and Mrs. Brains and their baby travelled to the Space Centre. After training hard over the weekend, Baby Brains waved goodbye to Mr. and Mrs. Brains and blasted off to outer space. Everyone in the world had held their breath as they watched Baby Brains take his first spacewalk. Tell us how you feel on this special occasion, radioed the ground control. Baby Brains looked up to the vast starlit sky above him. He looked down to the vast starlit sky below him. He looked at the whole world in front of him and mumbled something. We can't quite hear you, radioed the ground control. Can you repeat that? Oh, I want my mummy. Oh dear, it's so sad, look, well, Baby Brains. That's enough, said Mummy, Mrs. Brains. She yelled at the space controller, bring my baby home now. So Baby Brains was flown home as quickly as possible. He felt very embarrassed as he stepped down from the hatch. But through the crowd of photographers and cameramen, Mrs. Brains came running. Our beautiful little baby, sighed Mrs. Brains as she lifted him high into the air. Our brave little baby, said Mr. Brains. Can we go home now? Said Baby Brains. And at home, Mrs. Brains gave Baby Brains a warm bath, which made him feel a lot better. And Mr. Brains tickled him, which made him laugh. Mrs. Brains sang Baby Brains to sleep, and then they gently laid him down in the brand new cot. It was good to have their baby home again. Oh, our very own Baby Brains, whispered Mrs. Brains. From that day on, baby Brain spent most of his time at home doing the things that babies do, except that is at the weekends, where he still liked to help out at the local hospital. The end. Oh, he is a clever little baby, that baby. Shall we have a look at our baby? So, oh, we've got our baby here, look. So with our baby, you might like to get your babies out at home and see if you can dress them in things that begin with baby brains. I've got a little bib here. You might find some little booties as well for your baby. And I've got a little blanket, blanket for our baby. There he is, look. Now, if I'm thinking of some words that begin with be, you might be able to think of some too. Have a game of I Spy at home and see what you can find beginning with be. I can think of a bat, a ball, blanket, but you'll be able to find lots more than I have. And then, if you get your mummies and daddies to draw you a bib, you can have a go at making the sparkle mark, and we go down to his booties and then bounce over the ball. Again, down to his booties and bounce over his ball. I hope you have lots of fun learning our b sound. See you again.